Hey Actuarial Questers, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. I am Anchal, a life insurance actuary who also shares actuarial gyan on YouTube. And before starting with today's topic, I want to say that I haven't been able to post anything lately because of other things ongoing. And if you're still watching my videos for inspiration and actuarial insights, then I want to say thank you for sticking around. Your comments and questions make me realize how much knowledge there is that I can impart through this platform and really motivate me to come back here. So I'll definitely make sure to take out more time for you and keep posting as much as possible for me. Okay, so without taking any time further, let's jump on to today's topic. So we know that major part of an actuary's work is to play with lots of data and use that to form patterns to predict future scenarios. And as you can guess, this work relies heavily on computer softwares and programming languages. So in today's video, we'll talk exactly about that, and we will know all the tools and softwares that are currently relevant for actuaries and how you as a fresher actuary or as an experienced actuary can learn these softwares and implement them in your work. As a result of technological advancements, the list of softwares available for actuaries is also evolving. So, what softwares should you learn as an actuary? Let's first see the use cases of softwares in an actuary's job. In very simple words, actuaries model future scenarios and predict risk. We study data and try to find patterns, and this data goes as an input into our complex models where all the calculations are performed, and then the final results are presented to the end users. So for all these and many other use cases, actuaries can use a number of softwares depending on what their requirement is. So let's start with the most basic one, which is Microsoft Excel and VBA. Excel is the most basic and widely used software for actuaries. Currently, there are a lot of companies whose actuarial models are Excel based. They are doing everything on Excel, starting from calculating reserves, pricing products, and testing profitability of their insurance products. So from a very basic to extremely complex formula, everything can be accommodated and maintained in Excel. So if you are an actuary, Excel is the core software that you will definitely use in your work, and as a fresher, you must know Excel. There are a few limitations of Excel, because of which some other softwares that we are going to discuss in a while are also being used by actuaries. Main problem with Excel is that it cannot handle too much of data, and if the Excel becomes too huge or formula heavy, then it becomes slow and difficult to handle. With all its limitations, is Excel going to go away? I don't think so. Excel is going to stay. It's also regularly updated by Microsoft, so it is constantly improved with new features. And there are many Excel add-ins like pivots, Power Query, VBA, and you should definitely be hands-on with it. Now let's discuss more about these Excel add-in tools. Let's begin with the Power Pivots and Power Query. Let's say you have a large data set of customer information with millions of records in it, and you need to summarize this data, filter out some useless data, do some reformatting. You might also want to compare this set of data with another data set which is in some different format. Let's say a CSV or a text file, or maybe it's a SQL data set. And then maybe you need to do some extended calculations on the basis of these two data sets and build some analysis out of it. All of this and much more can be made possible with the use of Power Query and Power Pivots. With Power Pivots, you can work with millions of data. Data from different sources can be clubbed. Quick calculations can be performed without Excel slowing down. You don't need to apply VLOOKUPs to link different data sets. You don't need to apply sum if, count if, etc. You don't need to drag down formulas over millions of records and wait for it to refresh like you do in Excel. Power Pivots automatically copies down the formulas and refreshes the formulas in seconds. It also suggests you formulas and automatically creates formulas for you. So with the basic pivot table function in Excel, the formulas won't adjust automatically if you apply some filters in the table. But with Power Pivots, the calculated fields allow creating formulas within the pivot table. Now because the fields are part of the pivot table, they automatically adjust as the layout of the pivot table changes, irrespective of whatever filters you apply. This makes data analysis very easy using Power Pivots. And guess what? If you need to perform some set of analysis very frequently, you can automate that too using the Power Pivots. The tools automatically update the results as soon as you provide the new data to it. With the diagram view function of Power Pivots, you can work with multiple data sets and create links between them, even when the formats and level of granularity of these data sets are different. So I think if you have never used Power Pivots or Power Query, then you should definitely watch some YouTube tutorials and try it for yourself. Once you start using these tools, I don't think you'll ever want to come back to using the usual Excel functions, because it saves so much time and efforts over the traditional Excel functions. Whatever functions you apply on Excel using complex formulas and then drag down formulas and wait for it to refresh, all that can be achieved through clicks and drags in Power Pivots. And it has even better representation than Excel using the slicers. Also, these are free Excel add-ins, so why not go ahead and try? Now, since we are already talking about the Power Tools, there's another Microsoft Office platform called the Power BI, which is the business intelligence software. Through Power BI, you can again work on multiple data sets in different formats, perform data analysis and visualization. Power BI is useful for presentations so that important decisions can be made. So instead of presenting results using PowerPoint, maybe next time you can use Power BI for your presentations and impress your manager. Next Excel add-in that we are going to discuss is VBA, which is Visual Basic Application. Its purpose is to automate manual tasks. For example, each month you get some inputs and you need to apply the usual formatting, filtering and some formulas and get the final monthly results. You can automate this task using VBA and save yourself from repetitive work. Should you learn VBA? I think not necessarily unless your organization uses it extensively. I think you can learn some basics of VBA using Google researching and by recording macros. You should know how to debug errors, and I don't think any formal training would be required to learn VBA. It's easy, and if required, you can learn on your own. If you have to choose between learning Power Apps and VBA, then I think you should choose Power Apps because VBA is old and Power Apps can automate work in a better way. Next software we will discuss is SQL. SQL is hands-on the best software when the data set is large, like when you have to deal with trillions of data records. Many organizations use this software extensively when the data set is large. Should you know SQL? Yes, I think again up to basics is fine. Do you need any formal training on SQL? I don't think so. I think you can learn SQL from the open sources available on the internet. Maybe you can learn some basic queries like grouping or aggregating data or selecting or filtering data, joining several tables or writing subqueries. SQL queries are simple and they read like English, so it's very easy for you to learn them on your own. Next software on the list is quite popular these days and I think a must-learn software, which is the RStudio. If you use multiple data files or heavy data files for your analysis, then I think it is the best for you to switch over to R. Although it is a bit of challenge that you will have to move beyond your traditional comfortable Excel spreadsheets and get used to the R platform and understand its coding. But this challenge is only one time, because once you understand it and get used to it, I think your work will become easier. Suppose you have hundreds of files from where you need to extract some data based on some criteria, and you need to perform this function quite frequently. You can't obviously perform this task manually on an Excel because This will mean opening each of the 100 files one by one and then applying the filters as required. Even a VBA model would be difficult and slow. Through R, you can easily create a code for this function and it will run in seconds. I will say that it is not that difficult to learn R because there are loads of YouTube videos available, and also it has pre-built libraries and packages so you can explore on your own as well. Although it's included in the syllabus of CS1 and CS2 exams, so you'll learn this anyway, but if you wish you can also take courses from Simply Learn or Coursera. Like SQL, R also helps in dealing with multiple data sets and heavy data sets. But additionally, it also helps in data analysis and visualization. In this data-driven tech world, I think it is now the time for you to step back from the usual Excel and explore what R has to offer. Next software on the list is Python, but I'm not going to speak too much about this software because it's not the topmost tools that actuaries need to learn for now. I feel that if you know R, then maybe you can skip Python for the time being, because almost everything from data analysis to data visualization and to automation can be done in R and Python alternatively. But of course, Python will be a great tool for you if you're working with big data and AI as an actuary. There are many other tools like Alteryx, Tableau, and then some other tools which are more company specific like Profit, GGY Access, Rescue, SAS, Moses. You will use these softwares depending on what role you are working in as an actuary and what your organization uses. But in general, I think if you are comfortable with the initial few softwares that we discussed and you're good with logical reasoning, then you can pick and learn any software as and when needed. Additionally, with the AI in the talks, I think it is very important for you to take a step ahead and learn the upcoming AI tools, or at least be familiar with them. With the introduction of AI and technology into the actuarial field, I think the nature of actuarial job is also evolving. For all the junior level actuaries, I would say that it will be very soon that you will no longer be hired for doing the manual process based work. Instead, you will be hired to assess, validate and build on from the manual work that AI has already done. So in this scenario, you can win only if you are comfortable with the AI tools and possess critical thinking, communication and decision making skills. Hopefully, as soon as I get more time to research, I will certainly make some video on how the AI tools like GitHub Copilot, ChatGPT and others can be used to make your actuarial job easier and interesting. But at this point, I would say that if you are in the initial stages of your actuarial career, then the requirement to learn these actuarial softwares and AI tools is huge, because young actuaries can be easily replaced by data scientists and data engineers if they don't know how to use these softwares. That's all for today's video. I will be back with another informative and inspiring video very soon. For now, like the video and share if you found it helpful, and also subscribe to the channel. Signing off for now, we'll be back soon.